Welcome to Cultivate Communications' latest podcast series, 7 Steps to Accelerate Sales. Your hosts, Ethan Vandehey and Bob Wendt, will take you inside the 7 critical steps you can take to fast-track your revenue growth. You'll learn a proven marketing process that will take your sales to new heights. Today, they'll be examining the 6th step, where you'll learn how to develop and execute successful targeted marketing campaigns that impact revenue growth. Here are Ethan Vandehey and Bob Wendt.
Hello everybody, and welcome to episode 6 of 7, and this is going to be another diving into our marketing framework, and this is called the 7 Steps to Accelerate Sales, and this is the 6th episode, Targeted Campaigns. And we're going to learn a lot in this episode, or at least I am too. And Bob's going to be talking about how to create effective targeted campaigns. So Bob, like I said, I have so many questions because effective is a big word there. Right. So tell me what makes an effective targeted campaign.
So again, this is the part in the series where the rubber hits the road. All the work that we've done up to this point in time in developing a go-to-market plan, ideal client profiles, what kind of experience you're trying to create with your product or service, how to kind of get your team working together to achieve that revenue goal that was set. You have a unique value prop, but now it's time to go to market, right? So again, you really have to start with who you're trying to influence, right? What segment, what group of people, where they are, developing that right audience for a campaign is a critical first step. So deciding who you want to talk to is essential, right? You want to develop some goals, right? The worksheet will kind of walk you through that process. Again, from Cultivate's perspective, everything starts with revenue and works backwards. So if you know what you want to achieve and you can reverse engineer what level of marketing activity or sales activity combined are going to be needed to kind of achieve what you're trying to achieve, those need to be baked into your targeted campaign framework. So then as you move, you need to kind of start to decide what channels are going to work, right? Are you going to use purely digital channels? Is there PR required? The more traditional marketing methods that need to be folded in? And how are you going to choreograph that all together? What's the level of touch points you need to create? And then really every channel has its different value. Traditional channels maybe have the ability to kind of tell a bigger story, stay with that audience a little longer. Digital, a little shorter. The shelf life of an email is maybe 48 hours. And social media, how long is that going to kind of get penetration? Usually social media is high turnover. There's a lot going on. Maybe 15 or 20 minute attention span on a social media post. So the key is how you're going to kind of choreograph that all together. Everything that you've worked on up to this point in time really you should be at the point where you're galvanizing your messaging, right? What are you saying? How are you going to draw contrasts with, your competitors? What do you understand about your audience that really is going to, resonate with them so that you get enough attention so that they're at least willing to consider, what you're trying to do. And then again, nobody has the magic bullet. You're really going to have to test and measure. This is where A/B testing comes in. Again, monitoring your channel choices, looking at what the engagement is to really kind of get to the point where you can kind of make refinements and then launch, right? You got to get it out there. You got to get it going. And a lot of people think the work's done up front, but the work is really being done while the campaign is running because you're looking at engagement, you're getting feedback, you're making modifications. Those modifications could be, pivoting more to a channel that's, operating or delivering more engagement than others. It could be tweaking your messaging. There's a lot of different things that you can do to kind of pull the levers to really ensure that your target campaign is as efficient as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And it sounds like there's like a lot of preparation and planning that goes into this. And you kind of highlighted 6 steps. And these 6 steps, in your experience, what's one of your favorite steps of this process that has been really effective and really, something you've been having to keep a close eye on a lot?
So I find 60% of the success of any campaign is going to be based on the data, the input of the clients that you're going after, right? You could have a just great creative, great messaging. You could just be killing all the aspects of a campaign. But if you aren't getting that in front of the right people, then it's going to fail. If you get it in front of the right people, you could make some mistakes on the other things and it's still going to be successful because you've connected the dot between the audience that you're trying to reach and the information that you're trying to share with them. So that data piece, that really defining that segmented audience, making sure that you have solid and accurate data is probably the most critical point in developing a targeted campaign.
Okay. Yeah. And it sounds like, the way you're describing all this, it has a lot of moving parts. And for organizations, they're probably like, hey, Bob, is there an easier way to do this? What do you recommend for people that are thinking that question right now?
So again, you don't have to create a really complex, multi-channel, multi-messaging campaign. Start small, right? Keep it fairly simple. Pick 1 or 2 channels that you're comfortable with. Really get out there. And again, it's an evolution as you develop targeted campaigns and you start to see the results of what's coming in, then you can modify and change and add components to it. So it's really an evolution of what you need to do as a marketer to really kind of get your information out in front of you. Again, it's being proactive. It's outbound marketing. It's going after the people that you want and really trying to get them to engage with you. Again, if you've done the work up to this point in time, the targeted campaigns are going to be a little easier. You've kind of done a lot of the work. And we talked a little bit about kind of how to understand where you're at. So, target campaigns are the fun part. And again, as long as you've done the other steps, you should have an easy task of building out a campaign. And then the last episode that we're going to cover is really how to test and measure and optimize those campaigns to really, again, be as effective as possible, which is the key, looking for optimization.
Absolutely. And as Bob said, this is a lot of strategy right now, and this is a big thinking person's game. So once you get down to this fun part of the targeted campaigns and you launch it, this is where all the fun begins. So the last episode, we'll be diving into that, and that is test, measure, and optimize.
You've just finished watching Step 6 of the 7 Steps to Accelerate Sales podcast with your hosts Ethan Vandehey and Bob Wendt. Next on deck is Step 7, testing, measuring, and optimizing your campaigns to maximize return. Remember, you can download all of the worksheets for the entire series and watch other step videos as they're available at 7stepstoaccelerate sales.com.